Welcome to Cord Art. Today I'd like to make one of these. He's come out fairly well. A Praying Mantis. We'll put him over there for the moment so he can watch us. Now we're going to need quite a few bits and pieces to make the Praying Mantis. It's quite an easy project to make, but there's lots of bits and pieces. You're going to need some tools. You need a pair of pliers for cutting wire, a pair of scissors, super glue, but we're only going to be using a minimum amount of that, a lighter, your favourite fid, and a heat gun. I could give you all the dimensions and I'll probably print them out at the end of the tutorial, but I'll be telling you the dimensions as we go. So let's get this started, and what we're going to do is make a stopper knot with, I'm just checking my my little book here. We've got a 30-inch piece of gutted cord, just melted over at the ends there slightly, and we're going to do a stopper knot on that one. Now it needs to be 30 inches because we're going to use the extra cord that comes out of it. Now when you do a stop knot in gutted cord, you want to make sure that you get everything flat, i.e. not twisting. Twist is the scourge of cordless cord. Right, so there we are, just making the stop knot, making sure that all the cord stays flat to the hand. It's not twisting on the sections. It's really worth taking that extra couple of minutes to do that, because it proves good dividends. Back up round through there. I've shown this stopper knot on quite a few of my videos, so I'm not really explaining it as I go along on this one. There's our stopper knot. Now we want to get that nice and neat, because this part is going to be this tail. It doesn't have to be a different coloured green. You can make it all in the same colour. Now we're just going to pull that to a position like so, where we can still get something into the knot through these two exit pieces. Yeah. Now the next part is we need the main bulk of the cord, and it's two pieces of 5 foot 6 inches long. So that's 5 foot 6 inches, which I'm going to double over, get a loop, and also this is 5 foot 6 inches. Double over to get another loop. And what we're going to do with these two loops is just go through that stopper knot. Yeah. We didn't tie the stopper knot tight, so we're still okay. So we'll bring that, we'll take one either side of the centre piece, of the centre loop, like so. Pull that one out a little bit more, pull that one out a little bit more. Right, now we're going to tighten down on those cords. Find that the stopper knots do take a bit of time if they're to be tied correctly and neatly. It's starting to look good now. See how neat that comes out, like so. Yeah, that's good. We can tighten it a bit more. tighten these down. And then we've got a stopper knot around two 5 foot 6 inches pieces of cord. Now they do still go in and out of the knot. Now we took that loop, so we're going to disregard those two lighter green ones for the moment, and we're going to bring this loop down through the knot. Just making sure that we get hold of the right one, which I don't think I have. Yes, I have. So we're going to pull that loop up through until it goes into the knot, or just about into the knot. I'm going to get rid of that slack all the way around the knot, and it gives us a chance to tighten the knot up a little bit more. And that neatness in the beginning is paying off now, because everything remains where we want it. You have to watch out for twists still, even at this stage. That's it, that one's gone down nicely. Nice tight stopper knot with two loops in the middle. Now we're going to bring those loops down slowly. If we can get hold of the opposites to each other. Right. So just to the end there. Yeah, and again just to the end there. Now that could fall out, it probably wouldn't, but I'm just going to make sure it doesn't, just with a touch of super glue. Going to be just there. Now that's pretty safe. Pretty safe there. What we're going to now do is divide the four lighter greens up. I'm ready for doing a square knot. Now these two are going to be our core. We're going to tie the square knot around the core. Now we need to actually be tying a square knot up those two for 3 inches. Yeah. I don't know how many goes that is, but up to 3 inches and then stop. But halfway through I'm going to be cutting one of these, and I'll take the square knot to that position now, just to show you what we're doing. So we're going to go over, over, over again. A bit awkward because of the length, and then down through here to do our square knot. Now before we tie the square knot together, we're going to make sure that these two come up through the centre of that square knot, because that is the core. And you see how we're getting that square knot around the core now. As I say, we need to actually carry on now for 3 inches, but tightness is everything on this one. I saw a tutorial, well, I didn't see a tutorial, I saw a picture of this Praying Mantis, tried to get to the tutorial so I could make it, and I couldn't find the tutorial, but the picture itself showed the body being very slack, which I wasn't thinking that was right. So again, we're going to go across, across, across and down. Before we tighten up, bring these up through the centre. I've got a fan going on at the moment because it's so hot and I can't open the windows because there's people having a party outside. So I just have to endure and hope that the fan isn't making too much noise to cover my voice. Perhaps you want it to. Right, another square knot. Down through that one. Pick up the core. Yeah, this all came about with one of my group members in Paracord Off asking if she could have some help with making one of these, because she'd seen the picture I had seen and it directed us to Pinterest. Pinterest, is it called? When you try and click on the video, it doesn't work. So I thought I'd make one. That worked out okay. And then many people wanted or asked for a tutorial, so I thought I'd have a go with this one. Don't forget to bring that one back up. Right, I'm about an inch and a half at the moment in length with this beast. And what I'm going to actually do is cut one of those centre cords. We don't need both of them, we only need the one. Can you see how it's starting to come along now? There's his tail, there's the body. Now I'll probably keep the longest, because the whole thing is about 6 inches long, his body. So we'll just snip that one off. We can put a bit of heat to it so that it doesn't fray in the future, but not needed really. Now, having in mind that the whole thing, from the knot all the way up to the top of the body is about 6 inches, I'm going to cut a piece of wire to go inside of that gutted cord. Now I haven't done that so far. It's one of the things I've neglected to do, but we can do that in no time at all. Just find a bit of wire, a bit of flexi wire, and there's the tape measure. It's usually on the floor, and we'll have 7 inches to go in the 6-inch piece. There's the 7-inch piece of wire. we'll be cutting that again later. We, as I say, 6 inches long from there to there. Take the pliers out of my hands. 6 inches. I'm going to give another ½ an inch just so that we don't make, if we make a mistake, then we can rectify it. So that's about 6½ inches. This is the bit that becomes a little bit awkward until we've tied at least another couple of knots. So what we're going to do there is slide this down the core. And I could feel that just go in. I think it might have gone into the first knot, I'm not quite sure, but I'm not too worried. So now we've got, it's fallen out. What I think I might do is to keep favour with the audience, is push it back in again and just give it a touch of super glue on the end to keep its place. And hopefully it will stay where it should do. That looks a bit better option. So we're going to go round, round and over, round and over, and then down back through. As I say, I didn't glue the first one I made because I managed to fiddle it so that I could get this knot tight around the core and the wire. So I cut that to 6 inches or 6¼ and this is 7 inches. We're going to be cutting probably a bit off of that towards the later part of this project. Another one. Right, I'm going to click off there until I've actually done 3 inches of this square knot along that core. You can see that it's actually taking it quite well now. But I'll be back with you in a minute because we're going to try and do what I see as a wall knot. And I'll explain what I'm doing. If it's not a wall knot, I'm sure people will point that out to me. But the knot that I'll be tying is the one that I need. See you shortly. Welcome back. Well, there we go. We've got that at 3 inches now. That's including the stopper knot. 3 inches. We're going to do one more square knot. So we're going to go over that one, over this one, and then down through where my finger is. Yeah. Now this is what I think is a wall knot. We're going to gather it to about that position. Yeah. As I say, I've only ever tied one of these before on the previous project. So what we're going to now do is take this one, and where this one comes out, we're going to go up through beside it. If I can get it in, and bring that over towards me. The next one that goes down is going to do the same. I'm getting in a mix already, but we're going to persevere and see if we can get where we want to. This one should go up through there, I believe, and then we end up with what I call a walnut. Now I'm going to, rather than face embarrassment, I'm going to tighten that up, and if it's worked I'll come back to you. If not, I'll tie that knot again, but I'll be back to you shortly. Well, welcome back again. Well, there's my walnut. I'm losing track of where we are now. There's my walnut, just at the end of there. I dare say that I could get it tighter. I've just been fiddling around with it. Now you might have, for those people who can tie that knot, might have seen my attempt where I'd actually missed putting one of these cords up through. Fortunately, I noticed it before I tightened it all up. So no harm done, but that's what I wanted, is the walnut, so that rather than the cables or the cords coming out sideways from the square knot, they come straight down the core now, which is good. Now, I don't think it matters much. If you get two opposites, what we're going to do now is a snake knot for another 3 inches, and we're going to incorporate the core, the wire, the centre part, and 2 of these are going to be the core as well. So we're going to use these 2, those 2 for tying, make sure you're in shot, those 2 for tying around this core. And what we're going to do there is just lay that one down beside it, go right the way over all of them, underneath. That's the one that's the one we're going to be tying with. These are the core. Got a nice little crossover just down here, and we're going to bring that one underneath and back up through to form a snake knot. And with a bit of luck, there stays the core, and we can tighten that snake knot up like so. Yeah, so there's the snake knot, and as I say, we're going to travel up that for 3 inches. I won't show you all that because I'll do one more. So we just hold that one down by the core, bring this one over, little crossover underneath there, which is good. Hold that with the thumb and finger here. Our working end we bring right the way underneath, up past that crossover point, and then back down through the loop to form our second snake knot, I hope. And there we go. Again, we need these tight. Now I'm going to travel up to about there, which is about 3 inches. Then I'll come back to you and I'll show you what we do as the next stage. Looks like we've got a bit of super glue on that one still. Right, I'll come back to you shortly. So there we go. We've got the stopper knot, the square knot, which ends about at 3-inch mark. Then we've got the knot, which I believe is a walnut, which allows the cables to go that way. We've now got 3 inches of snake knot from the walnut, just about 3 inches, probably get one more if I needed to, but I think that's probably, that will do. Now we're going to disregard these 2, yeah, disregard these 2 and concentrate on the core. Now the core needs to be the head, and what we're going to do is do a stop knot, yeah, quick stop knot, so it's round the thumb, twist, bring the vertical up through, bring the bottom vertical round through, make our diamond, bring this one around the base and up through, bring this one to the opposite end around this base and up through the diamond, like so. Yeah, and we're just going to form it like that. Then the original core is going to go through the knot, yeah, like so. Might want to tighten it up a little bit more before we actually try and put the core through. Not too much, or else we'll lose the chance of actually pushing that up through. Push that one up through, like so. Unfortunately, because we've got a bit of super glue on there, that's going to push through as well, hopefully, like so. So there we are, kicking the bucket now. Right, so now we've got to get rid of these two loops, and I believe that one could be that one. No, it's this one. So we'll pull that loop up through, like so. Take it to the next stage. Now this doesn't want to be exceedingly tight. We need to have a bit of give in this stop knot, because we've got to fit the beads in for its eyes, and we're dependent on there being a bit of slack in the knot to be able to do that. So you'll notice that I'm not tightening extremely tight on this one. Is that one? No, it's that one. So there we go. Got one loop out, now we want to take this other loop out, and it looks as though that is the one, which it is. As I say, don't be tempted to over tighten it. Right, so there we go. We've got the beast's head now. Yeah. Now you'll notice that there's a loop there and a loop there. They're basically going to be his, let me think now, are they its eyebrows? Let me check back with the original. Yeah. So what we're going to do there is get our fid, and we're going to put it onto the original working ends, one like that, and we're going to take it down through that eyebrow. Yeah, like so. Going to do the same with the other one. So that's gone through what I see as that eyebrow, and then this one can go through that eyebrow, like so. We can give it a little bit of a tighten there now, but not too much. Now with the knot being slack, what we can get away with is now putting our pliers or cutters down as low as we can get it and cut that off. Trim up. And there we go. Right. Next stage is to put the beads on, these two. So there we have it. We have the two coming down here and these two coming through these eyebrows. Yeah. I think we'll do one at a time. Now that one needs to go up and in to that eyebrow. Now what I did before is I got it just to the position that I wanted it. Nearly had it then, just like so. Touch of super glue down there, a bit too much there actually. Thread the other one on. That one then goes underneath that eyebrow. Now this bit is a bit fiddly and you've got to get it to where you think it looks best. I think that's because once you've super glued it, it's super glued, if you see what I mean. That's not too bad. And a super glue around there. So these are coming out of its eyes, and we can still do some work with this one. Whilst that's drying that side, I think I'll just go to that's a bit better. That one wasn't quite so much in. A bit of super glue on the back end of it as well. A bit on that one, so that they don't move. Now those two coming through the eyes can be pulled taut, not tight, just taut. They can hang down, yeah? Now with these two, use that as a core. Use the two that's coming out of its eyes as a core. I've just done on the original just a snake knot. Now you could do a cobra. I don't know what that would look like. I think a couple of cobras would be fine, but just one snake knot I found quite effective. So we go around the whole of the core, underneath, back round and under and down through the loop. Just maneuver that snake knot to make it look like a bit of a snout. This is the effect that I'm looking for. Bit of fiddling around. It's not too bad at all. Probably a bit tighter if we can. With the super glue dry now, we can actually pull them down just a tad and get it to a position where it looks like a bit of a face. I'm hoping that all this is being filmed. I'm then going to snip off that one, and heat those. A little bit too much heat there. Get that one. So that locks our snake knot. And what I did with the original, I haven't come up with a better idea yet. Just snip them off and a bit of heat on there. I think I cut the originals a little bit longer so I could form it into a mouth, like so. Bit of a V. That's okay. That's looking good. Of course, we've got wire all the way through there, so we can actually bend it where we want it to, like so. Yeah, looks a bit like the Locky Monster at the moment. So that's where we are at the moment. Now what we're going to do is give this beast some legs. Now you'll notice underneath this one there's a fair bit of heated glue. Now the reason I did that was to stop these legs from doing too much of that. It's not been all that effective. There's probably a better way of doing it. I've got to think of, but then again, when I used the glue, I glued the wings on as well. We won't turn our attention to the wings as yet. What we'll do is look at the legs. Now for the legs, we need 2 7-inch pieces of wire and 2 6-inch, where's that gone? 2 6-inch pieces of gutted cord. Yeah. What I've done with these 2 pieces of gutted cord is just touch the heat on over there, so I've still remained with the hole. Same with that one, and on the other ends I've made it so that they'll take a fid. Yeah. What we'll do is, so they're 7 inches long. Sorry, they're 6 inches. Let me think. Yeah, they're 7 inches long. These are 6 inches. The wires are 6 inches. And should go down inside with a bit of spare. So we'll heat that. Now it's in there. I always try and make it so that I can get a fit on that end as well. That's one. 6-inch piece of wire into a 7-inch sleeve. That's 2. So those are going to actually be at the base of the neck, and they're going to go through the center part, well, the center of the whole thing, just through the body. Is the front top legs are longer. Now I've made the piece of wire 10 inches long and the piece of cord 11 inches long. We're going to slide, and I've prepared this piece of cord the same. It's gutted and it's 10 inches long, sorry, 11 inches long, and the piece of wire going inside is 10 inches or close. We'll seal him off like so. but the other one will suffice for what we need. So, a fid, we've gone back to the shorter leg now. We'll put the fid on if we can. We can't. Let's have another go at that. That's better. So what we're going to do now is try and manoeuvre our way just behind this wall knot, through the knot. Having in mind there's a core in there, it's not as easy as you might think. What I'm going to do is click you off there. I'm going to pass both sets of the short legs through there, yeah, and I'm going to pass the longer leg just behind the neck. We'll go underneath these two that go through the eyes, yeah, and I'll come back to you because it's pretty fiddly. So there we go. I've passed those two smaller ones just below the walnut, and this larger one of 10 to 11 inches goes round the two bands that go through the eyes, yeah. Now I have touched this for super glue. You don't need to do this one. This one can actually hang nicely. But even though I've put super glue in them, they still want to move around. So that's why I'm saying that you will need a heat gun eventually. So I'm going to let them go off and I'm going to bend them to shape. So that's something I'm going to do in a minute. No great deal in that. They've just got to look, they've got to be equally bent, if you like. Two forward and down, two backwards and down, but they've got to be equal. Let's turn our last attention to the wings. Now they're zipper zeniths. They're 3 inches long. They're made out of gutted cord, and I've made my first one already. Now, to actually make one of these is quite basic because it will actually sit on its back like so, yeah. It'll be glued onto the legs there and just to the tail there with the hot gun. So let's make the other wing. Now what we need is let me just make sure, for the wings they're 3 inches long and you need 3 inches of gutted cord, 3 feet of gutted cord. So we're going to get the 3 feet of gutted cord, double it over and make our loop. We're going to bring this one down so that we've got a loop there. And we're crossing over there, so it's just a basic loop crossing over there, and the one on top we're going to bring around the back and double it through, yeah, just like so. And then we're going to pull that one onto it, put it down tight. Now on that loop we've got this one and we've got the one that goes into the knot. We need to pull the one that's into the knot, which is that one. Pull down again. So that's our first zipper knot. So the one you're pulling down around here, you loop back up, go through that loop, and again, neatness is the best idea on all of this. Try and keep it as flat as possible. This other one then becomes the lasso and tightens down. we pull that one tight in the knot, this one down tight like so. Now I'm going to carry on and just do 3 inches of this zipper zenit, bend the legs into shape, and then glue it all together. You must make sure that this is a nice tight knot. Yeah, starting to come already. So as I say, need 3 inches of this. Bring that through, down like so. But don't think that's just it. You've got to get that bottom one there and pull it tight to get the effect we're looking for. When we get to 3 inches and we're at that stage, and we've just pulled down on there, instead of putting a double through, we'll put the whole thing through and cut it off once it's all tightened. So I'll just get to that stage now. I'll take it up to 3 inches. Hope I've filmed all this. Just to show you how we finish the zipper wings off. So I need one more loop up through. Pull down tight. Like so. Make sure that's nice and tight in the knot. That one goes like so, and then this one will come up underneath, go into there and tighten down here. And we're just going to cut and melt. Two wings, one's a little bit longer than the other maybe, but they are stretchy. Oh, they're fine. So, as I say, you can have a bend around, a bit of a glue, and that'll be the project completed. And we'll see what it looks like. Back to you shortly. Well, there they are. This is the one we've just made. Much similar to the previous one. I think I like the first one a little bit better because of the eyes, but we've given a couple of antennae on the, so it looks like a boy and a girl, doesn't it? I don't know, but that's basically the project completed. Just have to mention that I'm on Cord Art, and that subscribe if you like, or you could actually take part in my Facebook group, Paracord Off. You'll find lots of little projects like this on there, and there's some really masterful people on there who show right the way around the world. So join me on Paracord Off or at Cord Art on YouTube. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.